What's up and welcome back to another video, guys. Today I have some very interesting information to talk about. First off, we have a bunch of information regarding the UTAT and actually the fact that the build is going to be something completely different, that we have a pretty good idea of what it's going to be. We also have information regarding the gift with purchase with the UCS Death Star and also some changes to some of the sets and some new sets additionally that we have not seen before for the 2025 wave. So without further ado, let's get right on into this video. First set that I want to talk about is set 75413. Now I'm sure that many of you know that the UTAT, the previous UTAT kind of leak, has now been shifted towards being a build that isn't a UTAT, which is concerning for most given that it was one of the most anticipated sets for the 2025 wave, but it is still going to have 813 pieces, being $149.99, and it is going to have two Galactic Marines, Commander Bakara and Ki-Adi-Mundi. Now I'm sure that you all already knew that, but there was previously a deleted post on a German leaker's account that was quickly deleted, which kind of just makes this whole thing a little bit more suspicious. But that leak, after I translated it because I don't speak German, said that it was going to be an Octa-Tri droid build. Now I don't know if this really makes the most sense. Yes, it would fit with the minifigures, given that the minifigures have not changed and that they just given a different build. This would make sense as those did appear on Megiddo in the same scene that the Galactic Marines as well as the UTAT appeared to. And I do think that it's a possibility that we do see this. The only thing is, at $150, I'm not sure if that is a price point that LEGO would use on one of these sets, especially when we're already getting the MTT, which is a separatist themed set. So it wouldn't really make sense to get two big droid sets. I feel like in LEGO's shoes, they would make one clone set to go against the droid set, so people would buy both. That is what they've done in the past, and I feel like that's what they'll do continuing into the future. However, this does make a lot of sense, and I think if it's not going to be a UTAT, however, it's still going to be themed on Megiddo, an Octa-Tri droid would make a lot of sense, and I think it would be very cool to get one in a very large scale. Now, some other people have been saying that it's going to be a cutaway of the bridge, and while I can also see LEGO doing this, I just don't think that that's very interesting, and I think that LEGO, it would be kind of foolish for them to have the opportunity right there to make a UTAT or the Octa-Tri droid and then choose to build the bridge instead. Now, I wouldn't put it past LEGO. We're talking about LEGO here, but I still have hope that the UTAT might come through. It is very sad. I was very excited for the UTAT, as I'm sure many others were as well, but honestly, as long as we get the Galactic Marines, I'll be happy. I've been waiting for them for a long time. And it's also that the Galactic Marines are going to have a new helmet mold different from what the Snowtroopers have had previously, which I think is going to be very interesting. I feel like the Snowtrooper mold for the helmet would have worked very well for the Galactic Marines, but it definitely excites me to see that LEGO is making a new mold because it means that they're going to be taking this set a bit more seriously, I hope, and that these Clone Troopers should be very good, especially on the current trend of how Clone Troopers have looked recently, but I think they should look very good. I'm excited to see how this helmet mold comes about, as well as if they're going to have backpacks or not, or if that backpack is going to be built into the helmet mold somehow, like how our OG Snowtrooper helmets used to be. So I'm very excited to see that. I think these Clone Troopers should look very good, other than the fact that there is going to be a printed waist cape instead of a cloth waist cape. I'm also curious to see what they do for Commander Bakara's helmet, because he has a different helmet style than the normal Phase 2, as well as if he is going to have helmet holes for attachments, because he wouldn't need any attachments, but will LEGO put the helmet holes on anyway, and will we see that helmet in some other sets? I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be answered about this set. We just don't have all of the information right now. I think Ki-Adi-Mundi should look really good, and I think that the droids should just be the same as all of the other droids that we get. And as for the build, like I said, I'm a little bit disappointed that we aren't going to be getting that UTAT. I still have hope that we could see it. And regarding the Octa-Tri droid, I think it is a little bit suspicious that this, the original leak with this, or just the post, got deleted so fast. That could mean one of two things in my eyes. The first of which is the person realized that it was incorrect, so they deleted it. Or, there's some kind of other thing going on behind the scenes with LEGO taking the post down because maybe it was head on. So I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I really just don't know. I think that it is more likely that we get the Octa-Tri droid than the build of just the bridge. However, I would love to get the UTAT because I was so excited to get a UTAT because I think it's a very cool vehicle, but I'm very excited to see this, and we should know more very, very soon as this summer wave just gets closer and closer. So if you want to stay up to date on all of the rumors, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Next thing that I want to talk about is the UCS Death Star, more accurately the gift with purchase that's going to be releasing alongside it on October 1st. We know though that is going to be set 75419 and is rumored to be a TIE fighter and have 236 pieces with 3 minifigures. Now this is very disappointing for a lot of people, getting a TIE fighter with this piece count. The other TIE fighter, the most recent TIE fighter, was already very downsized, and this is half the pieces of that, so this is going to have to be very small. People think that it's going to be in scale with the Death Star hangar so you can kind of fit it in there, kind of like how the Vader's TIE Advanced has been with the previous ones. But personally, just getting the TIE Fighter as the gift with purchase to go alongside the UCS Death Star doesn't make a ton of sense to me, especially when looking toward the minifigures. This is rumored to have those 3 minifigures in this set, but I think that the 3 minifigures that we could get in the gift with purchase are already going to be in the UCS Death Star, so I'm not really sure. When you think of a TIE Fighter, what can they really put in there? Darth Vader, you know, if it's a Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, TIE Pilot, and Stormtroopers, we're getting those already in the Death Star. I have a whole video talking about everything that we know about the Death Star, because we got some interesting new information that'll be coming out probably 2 days or 1 day after this video, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to stay tuned for that. But I think that overall, this gift with purchase, although I'm not saying that it's false, it has come from very reputable sources, but the ladder to this was that it was going to be some sort of Darth Vader's lightsaber, and the person that originally leaked that out is someone that is very reputable, and they haven't gone to say that that has changed yet. I'm not saying that it is going to be one or the other. However, I still hope that it could possibly be Darth Vader's lightsaber, and that this TIE Fighter one has been mixed up with something else. It doesn't really make sense that they would throw in the tiny little TIE Fighter at 236 pieces. I'm not really sure what they could do for this TIE Fighter. It won't be in scale with the UCS Death Star, and it would just have to be like some very mini scale. I don't even know. And then the 3 minifigures, they also don't make sense because, like I said earlier, whatever they're going to be, unless they're for something completely unrelated to the Death Star, they would already be in the Death Star because that is going to have the 38 minifigures. So I'm not really sure. It's not adding up, at least to me. Maybe I'm just seeing this in an incorrect way, but personally, I don't think that it is going to be a TIE Fighter. However, it is kind of pointing toward that. I still have some hope that it may actually end up being that Darth Vader's lightsaber or some other sort of lightsaber would be really cool. Maybe a Palpatine's lightsaber would also be sick. I doubt it would be a third Luke's lightsaber. That wouldn't make any sense. Maybe like an Obi-Wan's, maybe. I don't know. I just don't think that it's going to be the TIE Fighter, but it is probably the most likely option just given the leaks right now. Next set I want to talk about is set 40796, the Revenge of the Sith Brickheads pack, coming out for $49.99 with 656 pieces, and now we actually know who we're going to be getting in this battle pack, and I am very excited. First off, we have Anakin, then Padme, then Mace Windu, as well as Palpatine and General Grievous, who I'm most excited for. I was really hoping that we'd get a General Grievous in this Brickhead pack, and I'm so happy that LEGO delivered. I think General Grievous is going to make a great Brickhead, and I can't wait to see this. I think Anakin and Padme, as well as Mace Windu and Palpatine, will also be very good to see as Brickheads. Palpatine will most likely be in kind of his, not in his Emperor Palpatine getup, but more in his Chancellor Palpatine getup, if you know what I mean, with kind of the maroon robes. And I'm very excited to see this. You're getting a little bit of a mini recreation of Palpatine's arrest, as well as getting some cool characters with Padme and Grievous as well. I'm very happy with this news. I was kind of nervous that there wasn't going to end up being a Grievous. I just feel like he is the perfect kind of character to get a Brickheads of. And although I'm not a huge fan of Brickheads, this will definitely be one that I will be picking up, and I'm very excited to see how LEGO goes about building these guys. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about in this video is something very excited. Being set 40806, the Holiday AT-AT is going to have 697 pieces and 1 minifigure, and is rumored to be about $69.99, releasing on October 1st. Now, I think that this is a very cool thing. I think a lot of people are familiar with the Holiday X-Wing that was an employee gift. That is a very sought after set, and it is a one that a lot of fans really wanted and wish was a direct to consumer set, but it wasn't, so it goes for like $1,000 on the aftermarket now, which is crazy, and I agree. I think that is such a cool set. I would have loved to have bought one, and I definitely would buy one if it wasn't $1,000, and I think that LEGO is finally kind of tapping into that market with this Holiday AT-AT. I think that it will be very cool. I think it will be nothing kind of like the holiday diorama that we've got, other than the fact that it will be releasing on October 1st and probably retiring short thereafter. And I think it's a very good idea for LEGO to be making these holiday-themed Star Wars sets and releasing them, you know, on October and then letting them run and then just retiring them at the end of the year once they're kind of, you know, done out with them. I think it's a good idea. It's like a runtime for a couple of months, and it kind of gets that in everyone in that kind of holiday mood when they want those holiday sets. And I think this one will be a very cool one. Now, I am curious with that low price and piece count. It is nearly going to be half the size that they're of a previous, you know, AT-AT that we've gotten in the past. And I think that's definitely the correct way for LEGO to go about building this thing, because you wouldn't want to release a $160 AT-AT with, like, you know, the holiday themed, just in case it doesn't really sell well. And I think just being like a holiday themed set, it is better if it is a smaller set. Overall, I'm very excited for this one, and I'm super happy that they're branching out and doing more holiday themed sets. That's going to do it for all of the new leaks that I have for you guys today. Let me know what your thoughts are about these leaks, and make sure if you want to stay up to date on all of the leaks and rumors to leave a like on this video, and while you're down there consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you'll be first notified when I post a new video about some new leaks and rumors that we're going to be getting. We have a lot more information to come in the time leading up to these sets releasing, especially with the May wave. I estimate that we'll probably have images within a week, which will be very exciting. I can't wait to see some of those sets, especially that May 4th promo. And we also have that Death Star video coming out very soon, so we have some very interesting information about that as well. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.